All right, functions. This is a quick recap video over each of the properties that we have learned in class. So we are going to talk about the product rule first, and remember with the product rule we're going to rewrite them as either multiplication or addition. So here are some examples. So if we are starting with log base 4 of 3 times 7, I'm going to rewrite that as log base 4 of 3 plus log base 4 of 7. So notice that we have the 3 coincides with this one, the multiplication turned into addition, the 7 coincides with the 7, and the log base 4 really just stays the same. So that is how we are going to go from a condensed version with 1 log to an expanded version with 2 logs. So now we are starting with something that's expanded and we're going to condense it. So we're going to work our way backwards. So I'm going to first do log base 8 of 10, and then this addition tells me that I'm going to have multiplication of 3. So now I have log base 8 of 10 times 3, which can be rewritten as log base 8 of 30 because we actually want to do the operation. So this can be done with variables, this cannot be done with variables, this can be done with numbers. It doesn't really matter, but this is the rule. So now when we have something like this where the multiplication isn't as obvious as this is, but we do have multiplication, we're going to rewrite that. So we're going to rewrite that as log base 8 of 8 plus log base 8 of k. Now the thing that we want to be careful with, we've learned what happens if I have a base 8 raised to, or of the same number. So if these two things are the same, they actually turn into a 1. So we're actually going to get 1 plus log base 8 of k. So we just need to be careful when we catch that. This, because this is a review, we already know the power rule, but I'm going to show you why the power rule works. So if we have a log base 5 of m squared, I can rewrite that as log base 5 of m times m, which would be log base 5 of m plus log base 5 of m, but these are identical, and it means that there's 2 of them, so then I'm going to have 2 log base 5 of m. So again, if you already know the power rule, you would take that and throw it up front, but this is why it works. Okay, so now let's cover the quotient rule. So again, I'm going to start with a very simple example. So we're going to have log base 7 of 9 divided by 4. So remember, we're going to take this numerator, we're going to write that first. When we see this division sign, we're going to put a minus sign, and then when we see the 4, that's going to be the next part. So 9, there's the numerator, there's our minus sign, and there's our denominator. So then to work our way backwards. So if I were to work my way backwards, I know I'm going to have log base 3. I've got my numerator, there's my division sign, and there's my denominator. Just like that. Alright, so now let's do this with a number. So, and a number that is going to kind of simplify a little bit further. So if I were to rewrite this, I'm going to have my numerator 3, my denominator 16. But then let's look at this, something that we always want to check. Can I rewrite 3 as a base of 4? No. 4 to no power equals 3. But does 4 to some power equal 16? Yes, 4 squared. So I can rewrite that as, let's go back. I forgot that this is in here. I can rewrite this part as log base 4 of 4 squared. Well, now we have a base here and here. We can use our power rule, throw this out front. So we're going to get 2 log base 4 of 4, and then this turns into a 1. It doesn't disappear. Remember, I don't like saying cancel because I want you to remember that it's 2 times 1, and then that is how we get log base 4 of 3 minus 2. So be careful. If you are able to rewrite an answer to the same base that you're given, you should definitely do that. You should always do that. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the power rule, which we've already talked about, and that is where that means that we can take this and throw it out front. And that is exactly what we're going to do. And then the same thing for this one, so we should get 4 log, and this one. Now this one we need to rewrite as a power. So anytime you see a root or a radical, you need to rewrite that radical as a power so that we can deal with it. So then we actually get log base b of 8 to the 1/2, and then we throw the 1/2 out front. Same goes here. When we have that radical there, we need to rewrite that as a power. And so I know that my root is 7, so that's going to be in my denominator, and my power is 4, so that's going to be in my numerator. So when I have rewritten it as an exponential or with an exponent, there we go. And that is my final answer. So make sure you do that. When we have logarithms, we need to rewrite them as exponents. So make sure you look for those radicals and knowing how to rewrite them. Okay, so here are our special properties. So remember, we just talked about this. So we want to rewrite this as log base, oops, we want to put the 5 right here, log base 10 of 10. This turns into a 1. And what are we left with? Just a 5. So that's going to equal 5. Same thing goes here. I want to rewrite that as a power of 2, or a base of 2. So I can actually rewrite that as log 2. Well, 8 is just 2 cubed, and then I'm going to get 3 log 2 to the 2. This is going to turn into a 1. So I am only left with 3. Oops. There we go. So then the answer is 3. You can't really see it. Hold on. Let's see if I can get that to go away. I'll just erase all of it. Okay. All right. So then this one, when we have a base taken to some log of the same base, this turns into a 1, and I'm left with 9. So then my answer is 9. All right, so make sure you get that in your notes. All right, I'm going to start the next video with this. Thank you.